Hello everyone. Once again, I welcome you all back to the Creator Tech Connect series for the month of November. For people who have joined this session newly, let me give a short introduction to what this Creator Tech Connect series is. So Creator Tech Connect series is a month-on-month free webinar that we handle. So this happens on every second Thursday of the month. In this Creator Tech Connect series, we will be selecting a technical topic from the Zoho Creator platform, and we'll be discussing about the topic and also provide you with a live demonstration during every month. So this is me, Dorothy R. from the Zoho Creator training team, and I'll be the host for this session. Before we get started, there are a few housekeeping rules that I would like to highlight. All the attendees who have joined this session will be kept on mute. If at all, if you have any questions related to the topic that we'll be covering, you can post your questions in the question tab and my co-trainers will be answering all your questions. So a recording of this particular session will be sent to all the registrants and the attendees, so you need not worry about the recording. In between the session or at the end of the session, we will be running few polls and surveys. We kindly request you to actively participate in all of them. So before we get started with the topic, let me just turn my video off so that you can view the entire session in a full screen. So now let's proceed with the topic. From the month of September, we have chosen the topic as Zoho Directory with Zoho Creator. And we have segregated this topic to be a three-part series. So why do we need to segregate this topic, which is Zoho Directory with Zoho Creator, as a three-part series? Zoho Directory is a tool that is going to help you to manage your business, protect your user account, user access, and also the different roles that you have across different applications. In order to achieve this user identity management in a single space, we have several features available in Zoho Directory. So all these features are segregated into three-part series, wherein in the first part and in the second part, we have covered few of the features. And in the third part, we have chosen the topic to be directory stores and device management in Zoho Creator using Zoho Directory. So the agenda of this part 3 of the series is going to be, we will be having a quick recap about the topics or features that we discussed in part 1 and part 2, post which we will be moving on to the topic for part 3. So in part 3, we will be having a quick introduction to what is directory stores in Zoho Directory, how you can configure directory stores, and how you can create a connection with Zoho Directory and Active Directory will be covered. Post which we will be learning about what is device management in Zoho Directory, how you can configure device management and enroll all your devices in Zoho Directory and manage them in a single space will be covered as well. We will be having a live demonstration on both the features that we have discussed. At the end of the session, I will be showcasing few of the key pointers that you need to remember whenever you're configuring directory stores and device management in Zoho Directory. So with this agenda in mind, let's start with the recap of part 1 and part 2. So in the part 1 series, we learned about how you can add users in Zoho Directory, how you can assign roles to these users and manage all the users in a single space. We also learned about how you can create groups, how you can add groups of users, how you can create conditional assignments based on which your user access or user addition can be restricted. In part 2 of the series, we learned about how you can add and verify a domain in Zoho Directory, and also how you can allow the users to request an access for an application as well. We also learned about the security features that we have in Zoho Directory, such as how you can configure a password policy, how you can enable or disable multi-factor authentication, how you can allow or restrict IP addresses based on your users. So all these security features was also covered in the part 2. Now, in part 3, we will be learning about directory stores and device management in Zoho Creator using Zoho Directory. So now let's proceed with the first topic, which is directory stores. So what are directory stores? Directory store is an option that we have in Zoho Directory, wherein all the external directories that you can sync with Zoho Directory will be listed in a single space. So if at all, if you are using an existing directory in your organization If you would like to migrate your user data from an existing directory to Zoho Directory, then Directory Store is your option for that. In the directory stores, we do have both cloud-based and on-prem directories available. You can choose your external directories based on your requirement and proceed with the sync. So over here, in order to understand the directory stores options better, I've just illustrated a use case. Let's consider you're running an organization, and in this organization, all your user data will be stored in a directory, right? So throughout this session, this directory will be referred to as an existing directory or an external directory. We'll also consider you have started using multiple Zoho application. So these users who are using Zoho applications needs to be stored in Zoho Directory. The user details will be stored in Zoho Directory. So it's not a very feasible method to have two directories and maintaining them in a single organization, right? So instead of having two different directories, you can just simply transfer or migrate your user data from an existing directory that you're already using to Zoho Directory. So this can be achieved using directory stores, which is an option or feature that we have in Zoho Directory, right? So in order to migrate your users from an existing directory to Zoho Directory, the first thing that you need to do is you have to create a sync or a connection, also called as a connection, between these two directories. So by using this sync or connection, you will be able to migrate your users. So what are all the existing directories that we have in the directory store? So we do have Bamboo HR, Jump Cloud, Microsoft Entra ID, Okta, Active Directory, and CSV SSOs. So all these external directories are available in your directory stores page. You can go ahead and choose your external directory and proceed with the sync. The first four directories listed over here are your cloud directories. So if you would like to get to know more about how you can create a connection with the cloud directory with Zoho Directory, you can go ahead and watch the part 1 and part 2 series where we have covered how you can create a connection with Microsoft Entra ID and Zoho Directory. I hope the link for the part 1 and part 2 is shared in the chat section by my co-trainer. The next two directories that is listed over here is we have the Active Directory and CSV SSOs. These two directories are your on-prem directories. So what are on-prem directories? So on-prem directories are nothing but these are directory application that you have installed in your local machine. So all your user data will be stored inside this application in your local machine that you have installed. In this session, we will be learning about how you can create a connection with Active Directory, which is an on-prem application installed in my local machine, and with Zoho Directory, which is a cloud application. So as I told you earlier, in order to migrate your users, you need to sync both these directories, right? So for our session, the external directory that we have chosen is an Active Directory and on-prem application. So to create this sync, we do need something called a sync tool agent. So this sync tool agent is going to act as a middleman between your Active Directory and Zoho Directory, and it's going to help you with migrate users from one directory to another. So how you can install this sync tool agent? So this sync tool agent needs to be installed in the local machine where your Active Directory on-prem application is installed. I hope you understood that. Now let's learn about the sync tool installation process. There is a step-by-step process that you need to follow in order to install this sync tool. So before I showcase the step-by-step process, let me take you to the Zoho Directory platform and just show you where you can find this directory stores option. So in order to access my Zoho Directory, here I am inside the Zoho Creator platform. Under the Manage section, I do have an option called Governance. So let me click onto it. And over here, I have an option called Active Directory. Let me click onto Configure Active Directory. So once you click onto Configure Active Directory, you will be landing onto the admin panel of Zoho Directory. In your admin panel, we do have several options such as dashboard, the organization option, the applications inside your directory, the users, the admins, groups, so all these options and features are available over here. So all these features are covered in your part 1 and part 2 of the series. Now in part 3, we learn about the directory stores. So this is the place in which you can view all the directories that you have created a sync with Zoho Directory already. In order to create a new sync, just click on to Add Directory. And over here, you can see the list of external directories that are available. So for our session, we have chosen the external directory to be an Active Directory and on-prem application. So let me just click on to Add. So once I click on to Add, this is the user interface that where I'll be landing in. So in this user interface, the first thing that I'm going to notice is the system requirements, for which let me take you to the presentation once again. So whenever you want to install a sync tool agent, the first thing that you have to notice is the system requirements. Just go through the system requirements. Once you meet all your system requirements, you can proceed with the sync tool agent download. Just click on to this download, and in your downloads, you will be able to see a file called Zoho Directory Sync. Go ahead and install the file. In your installation path, you will be able to see something called a sync tool available and installed. Just open the sync tool and you will be landing onto this user interface. So this is how your sync tool user interface would look like, wherein initially you'll be getting a welcome message. Just click on to next, and then once you just click on to next of the welcome page, the next option that we have is Zoho sign-in and LDAP configuration. So what are these two options? So once you install your sync tool, there are two steps that you need to follow mandatorily. The first step is you have to create a connection with your sync tool agent and Zoho Directory. And the second step is you have to create a connection with your sync tool agent and your Active Directory. These two steps can be achieved using this Zoho sign-in option and your LDAP configuration option. So let me show you the same. As I told you earlier, this is going to be my first step, wherein I'm going to create a connection with my Zoho Directory and the sync tool agent. For which, let me just click on to Zoho sign-in. In this user interface, I will be getting two things. The first one is a login URL and the second one is a verification code. Just open this login URL and copy this verification code and keep it available. Once you open this login URL, you will be landing onto this UI, this page, wherein it will ask you for the verification code in order to register your device. So once you paste the verification code, just click on verify. And over here, the sync tool agent will ask you a permission in order to access the data that we have in Zoho Directory. Just click on accept. So once you click on accept, the connection with your sync tool agent and Zoho Directory will be successful, right? So now the first step is over. We have created a connection between the sync tool agent and Zoho Directory. Now comes the second step, wherein we are going to create a connection with the sync tool agent and the Active Directory on-prem application that I have in my local machine. In order to achieve this, let me just, all you need to do is just click on to this LDAP configuration. And over here, you need to choose the directory type as Active Directory, because we have chosen the Active Directory as the external directory over here. So just select the directory type, followed by the domain name, enter your domain name, and then comes the domain controller. So if you don't know what a domain controller is, let me give a short description about it. Domain controller is nothing but it is a type of server that is going to help you and manage security access to all the resources within your network, right? So you would have configured your on-prem Active Directory in your local machine as an existing or external directory, right? So this local machine's host name will be the domain controller's host name. While you are configuring your Active Directory in your local machine will have a host name on its own. So this host name needs to be entered over here as the domain controller name, as it will be one and the same. Once you enter the domain controller name, if you would like to securely transfer your user data from your existing directory to Zoho Directory, you can just toggle this Use SSL option on. So once you toggle this on, all you need to do is just enter the username and password. So this username and password is nothing but your device's or your local machine's username and the password of your local machine. So once you enter all the required details, just click on add. your connection with your Active Directory and the sync tool agent that you downloaded will be successful. So the first two steps are configured. We have created a connection between Active Directory and Zoho Directory already. Next, all you have to do is just set your sync preferences. Go ahead and proceed with the sync, as in migrate your users from your external directory to Zoho Directory. If you'd like to schedule the sync on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, go ahead and schedule the sync as well. You can see all your sync status, whether the sync is successful, updated, or if there are any errors. So all this can be viewed in the reports. And also we have the sync tool settings, agent settings as well. So in order to configure all these, let me take you to a live demonstration on the same. So in my directory store, I have chosen my external directory to be the Active Directory, and I have already downloaded my sync tool agent. So let me just open the same. So here we are in the welcome page. Let me just click on next. The first step of creating a connection with my Zoho directory is already done. So let me just click on next. The second step of configuring or creating a connection with my Active Directory using LDAP configuration is done, wherein I have entered my domain name, my domain controller name, the username and password of my local machine, and the configuration is set up. So once both these steps are, the mandatory steps are done, you can just click on to next. Here comes the sync preferences. In sync preferences, the first option that I have is I have to select the organizational units that I would like to migrate. So what are organizational units? In my Active Directory, so let me open the same. So here I have my Active Directory installed in my local machine. So in my Active Directory, you can see the domain that I have verified, right, which is zilkertraining.in. Under this domain, I will be able to create organizational units. So organizational units are going to act as folders that is going to contain your user data. So just let me just show you how you can create a new organizational unit as well. Just click on to new and select organizational unit. And let me enter a name for them. Active Directory organizational unit. So this is just a sample name that I'm giving. So let me just click on OK. And here you can see a folder or an organizational unit that is created, right? So in order to add users into this folder, let me just click on new and select user. So here I have to enter the user details. So let me just go ahead with the first name. Also enter a logon name. And click on next. So here I have to enter a temporary password. Let me enter the same. So this password will be required whenever the user is added to Active Directory. And then I have to select the password preference. So I do not want my password, this particular password, to expire. So let me select the same and click on next. So here you can see the full name, the user logon name that I gave, and also the password preference that I chose. And let me click on finish. So over here, the user is added to the folder that I just created. To this user, I'm just going to sync the email ID that the logon name that I just created as an email ID. So let me just click on to properties and enter the same logon name as an email ID over here, along with the domain name. So I've entered the email ID. Let me just click on apply and select OK. So now the user is added to the folder or the organizational unit that was created. Let me take you back to the sync tool. So in the sync tool, under sync preferences, the first thing that you need to do is you have to select which folder or which organizational unit do you like to migrate to Zoho Directory. So you can either just click on to add organizational unit and select your organizational unit, or if you have already added an organizational unit, you can just edit it as well. So let me just select the organizational unit that I've just created. So AD org unit, this was the folder that we just created, right? So let me select the same. You can also select the object types as well. Do you want to migrate your users or just the groups or your security groups along with the LDAP queries? So all this can be, object types can be selected and click on add. So this will be updated successfully. You can see the OU that you just selected. And under the object, you can see something called a view count, right? So if you just click onto it, you will be able to see the number of users and the number of groups that is there inside your organizational unit. So in this folder, I just added one user, right? So it's reflecting as one user. So once you select the folder that you would like to migrate, just click on to next. And then comes the exclusion rule. So exclusion rules are nothing but if you don't want a set of users to be migrated to your Zoho directory based on a criteria, that criteria can be given over here. If you just click on to add rule, so if you don't want a set of users based on a domain name or based on a field or based on an object type or based on a criteria that you give on your own. So based on your requirement, you can create an exclusion rule. So whenever the users are migrated from your external directory to Zoho directory, people who are, or the users who are matching this exclusion rule will not be migrated to Zoho directory, right? So once you're, if at all, if you'd like to bring in an exclusion rule, you can go ahead and add one and click on next. Next comes selection of attributes, which are all the attributes that you would like to migrate, wherein you can see the user attributes that I've selected over here. And not just the users, we do have attributes for groups as well. So once you select all your attributes, just click on next. And then comes the sync settings. In sync settings, the first thing that you need to do is you have to enter a default or also called as a temporary password. So what is this password? This password will be created only by the admin. Whenever a user is migrated from your Active Directory to Zoho Directory, in Zoho Directory, once they are newly added, they will be assigned with cloud applications, right? It could be Zoho applications or any other cloud application. In order to access these cloud application, the user will be given with a temporary or a temporary password, right? So using this temporary password, the user will be able to sign into their cloud application, and later on the password will be changed by the users from the user's end, right? So this needs to be created by the admin, and it should be remembered because whenever you assign a cloud application, the temporary password will be entered by the admin, and the user will be able to change his or her password later on. So once you create a default password, just click on next. You will be redirected to directory sync. So far we saw about what are all the sync preferences, options that you can create. Next comes the directory sync. So this is the place where you can sync or migrate your users from an external directory to Zoho directory. So here under this tab, which is users to create, you will be able to see all the users that are listed in your organizational unit that you selected under sync preference. So we did have only one single user in the folder, right? So that user is listed over here. In order to migrate this user to Zoho directory, we have this button, which is a sync button. So currently the status is not created. Right, so let me just click on to sync. Once the migration is completed, the status will get updated to created. So let me open my Zoho directory now and move on to the users tab. So here you can see the user migrated to Zoho directory, right? So now this user is newly added to Zoho directory. In order to convert this user as a confirmed user, we have an option to send an invitation to join Zoho directory. So if you just click on to send invitation, the user will be receiving an invitation email. Once the user accepts the invitation, they will be added as a confirmed user in this Zoho directory. Once the user becomes a confirmed user, you can also view the user in your Zoho Creator platform as well. So this is my Zoho Creator platform dashboard. Under the manage section, we have users. Over here, if the user becomes a confirmed user, he or she will be listed over here. Once the user is listed over here, you can go ahead with assigning applications to the user. If you'd like to assign roles and permissions for the user, you can go ahead and do that as well, right? So not just users can be migrated, you can also migrate groups as well. So under directory sync, we have groups option as well. If you'd like to migrate groups of users that is there in your organizational unit, you can go ahead and sync them as well. So apart from this, if you'd like to schedule your sync on an hourly, daily, or weekly basis, we have options for the same. You can schedule your sync and your sync will happen on the time that you have entered over here. And next comes the reports. In your report, you will be able to see the sync status, whether for each and every user that you're migrating to Zoho Directory, you will be able to see if the user is created successfully in Zoho Directory. If at all, if you're updating any data, any user data, if the update has happened successfully, or is there any error, is it disabled? So all this sync status can be viewed in your reports. And also we have the sync settings option, wherein you can change your preferred language. If you'd like to get a mail notification regarding the sync status, you can toggle on the proxy configuration. We do have several other settings for your sync tool as well. So this is all about your directory stores and how to create a connection with your Active Directory and migrate them to your Zoho Directory. So I hope you understood how this feature works. Once the users are migrated from an external directory to Zoho Directory, you can go ahead and send the invitation and add them and access the users in your Zoho Creator platform as well. So now let's just consider the users are migrated to Zoho Directory. So here, every organization will have an admin, right? So the admin is responsible of assigning devices to each of the users that is listed over here. So all these users are going to be the internal employees of an organization. So the admin will be assigning devices to the users and also assigning cloud applications to these users in order to perform their day-to-day job. In order to manage all the devices that you're using inside your organization, we do have an option called device management in Zoho Directory. So what is this device management? Let me take you to my presentation now. So the next topic that we are going to discuss about is device management. So once again, let's consider a scenario over here. Every organization will have an admin. So as I told you earlier, one of the roles and responsibility of an admin is for each of the employee, the admin needs to assign devices and cloud applications in order to perform their day-to-day job. So we'll just consider we do not have an option called device management in Zoho Directory. In that scenario, assigning devices to all your employees and assigning cloud applications to them and having a track of all the assigned devices and unassigned devices is going to be a very tedious task for an admin to manage. Using device management, we can easily manage this in a single space in Zoho Directory. So let me show you the same, how this can be achieved. Before I show you the step-by-step process involved in device management, let me just give you a gist about the advantages that you can have if you're using device management in Zoho Directory. The first advantage would be you will be able to assign or unassign devices to users, and also you will be able to track the status of the device as well. Whether my device is offline or whether the device is online, is the user currently using the device, the last login timing of the user. So all this can be tracked by the admin using device management. And another advantage would be you will be able to assign and unassign cloud applications to your users as well. And all this can be managed once again in a single space. And the third advantage would be if the user wants to have a unified set of credential for their device and cloud application, the user can opt for the same. So how this can be achieved? So whenever the admin assigns a device to a user and also assigns few cloud applications to the user, in order to access the device, the user needs to enter a username and a password, right? So that will be his login credential. So once the user enters into the device, In order to access the cloud application, once again, the user needs to enter a login ID and a password, right? So here, two different set of credentials are used. So if the device is enrolled in Zoho Directory under device management, the user can opt to have a unified set of credential. So for both their cloud application and the device, the user can sync both the passwords and have a unified set of credential. So just by entering one single set of credential, the user will be able to log into the device and also access all their cloud applications. And another obvious advantage is going to be a reduced downtime for the admin. So managing everything manually is going to be taking a long time and it's going to be a tedious process. So using device management, all this downtime can be reduced effectively. So these are four major advantages of using device management. Let me show you the step-by-step process involved in this device management. So the first process is enrolling your device. So all the devices, if you'd like to manage hundreds of devices used in your organization in a single space, the first thing that you need to do is enroll your device. Once your device is enrolled in Zoho Directory, you can go ahead and assign users to those devices. You can also assign cloud applications to these users later on. The third step involves, once you assign users and cloud applications to the users, you can go ahead and manage these devices and users in a single space in Zoho Directory. So this is going to be the three-step process involved in device management. So let me talk about this first step on how you can enroll your device in Zoho Directory, which involves a step-by-step process. So before I show you the step-by-step process, let me also show you where you can find this device management enroll a device option. So let me take you to the live demo. So once you click on to device management, towards your right hand side top, you can see an option called enroll devices, right? So just click onto it. Once you click onto it, this is the UI that you'll be landing on. In this page, the first thing that you need to do is you have to select what is your mission type that you would like to enroll. Is it a Windows mission, or is it a Mac mission, or is it a Linux mission? You have to select your mission type first. Based on the mission type that you have selected, your agent can be downloaded. For instance, if you're selecting your mission type to be a Mac mission, you can download your agent, which is respective to the mission type that you have selected. And also you can see an installation key for the Mac mission type, right? So this agent installation will vary based on the mission type that you're selecting. So let me show you the installation process for a Mac mission now. So once you click on to download agent, an agent file will be downloaded. Just copy this installation key and keep it ready, because whenever you install this agent, it will ask you to paste your installation key. So just click on to download agent and you will be in your downloads, you will be able to see a directory Mac agent zip file. So if you just extract this zip file, you will be able to see a directory Mac agent PKG file. Go ahead with the installation of this PKG file. Just read your prerequisites and continue with the installation process. Your installation will begin and it will ask you for the installation key. You would have copied an installation key, right? Just paste the installation key and your installation will be successful. So this is a simple installation process in order to enroll your device in Zoho Directory. Once the installation is successful, your device will be listed in Zoho Directory. So as you can see here, I have installed an agent, a device management agent in now Windows mission, a physical mission that I have near me, right? So once an agent is installed in any physical mission or in any mission type that you would like to enroll, you will be able to see your device listed in this single space. You will be able to manage all these devices listed in this space easily, right? So here you can see the device name. You can see the serial number. If at all, if you have assigned users to these devices and if the users has synced their password with a cloud application, you will be able to see the password status and the list of users over here, right? So over here, you can see that I have enrolled a Windows machine over here. And also you can see a green dot representing that my physical machine, this Windows machine that I've enrolled is currently online. Online as in the machine is connected to a network. So if my machine is not connected to a network, then you will be able to see a red dot appearing over here, indicating that my machine is currently offline. So how this device status is tracked? So the agent that we installed in my Windows machine will be responsible to fetch all my device status, whether my device is offline or online. You can also see when was the device last logged in on, so when was the device enrolled. So all these details is fetched from the agent and it is being displayed to the admin over here, right? So here, let me just click on to my device name. I will be able to see my device summary, the basic summary, memory usage details, network summary, and OS summary. And also I will be able to see the device information as well. And next comes the Members tab. In the Members tab, I will be able to see all the profiles that I have in my Windows machine that I have enrolled. So in my Windows machine, I do have two different profiles, a system admin profile and a test account, right? So for these two profiles, I will be able to assign individual users. So one thing that you need to remember is for one single profile, you will be able to assign only one single user. So how this user assignment can be done? So towards your right hand side top, you can see an option called assign user, right? Just click onto it. And this is the place where you can select your users. If you just click on to select, all the confirmed users in your Zoho directory will be listed over here. Just select a confirmed user that you would like to assign to and click on done. For this user, if you would like to assign the system admin profile or the test account, you can go ahead and choose your profiles and click on assign. So the user will be successfully assigned to the device. Now, this user will be able to log into the Windows machine or Mac machine, whichever machine is assigned to this user. So upon logging in, the user will be able to see a directory symbol available in the taskbar. So let me show you the same. So in the Windows machine, in your taskbar, the user will be able to see a directory symbol appearing. Once you click onto the directory symbol, the user will be given with an option to sync their cloud application with their device, sync their cloud application password with their device password. Once they click on to sync password, the device will restart and the device will ask the user to enter his or her cloud application password. Once the password is entered successfully, you will be getting, the user will be getting the password sync status as in sync. And also if the user would like to change his or her password in the future, they can go ahead and do so as well, right? So this option of having a unified set of credential is available in device management in Zoho Directory. So for this user, if the user syncs the password, you will be able to see the password status over here. And also the password status will be visible. So in order to show you the same, let me just log into my Windows machine that I have at hand. Just give me a minute. So I've logged into my machine now. Since this machine is assigned to a user called Dorothy, so the username and the password status should be reflecting over here. So just a heads up, I have not synced my password yet. I've just logged into the device that was assigned to me. So here you can see the user detail along with the password sync. So if I sync my cloud application password with the device password, the password status will get changed to in sync, right? So let me take you to the Members tab. So if you would like to unassign this user to a test account or any other profiles, you have an option to unassign the user as well. Next comes the Pending Actions tab. So what is this Pending Action tab? So any action that you're doing inside the machine that you have enrolled, such as assigning a user to the machine or unassigning the user. So all these actions will be executed only when the device is online. If the device is offline and if you're still continuing to assign or unassign users to a particular profile inside a machine, all these actions will be moved to the Pending Actions tab. So just to demonstrate this, let me turn the network connectivity of the physical machine, Windows machine that I have at hand. Just give me a minute. So I've just turned the network connectivity off. So let me refresh. So the status should be updated to a red dot. Sometimes the agent takes few minutes to update the status. In the meantime, let me show you how this pending actions tab works. So if you just click on to unassigned user, as my machine that I've enrolled is currently offline, the task that I just gave, that is unassigning this particular user to the test account, will be moved to the pending actions tab. So here in the pending actions tab, I can see the action that was executed by the admin, right? So only when my device goes back to online, this action will be automatically executed. That is, the user will be unassigned from the machine so that the user will not be able to access the machine any longer, right? So this is how your pending actions tab works. And apart from this, if at all, if any of the mission that you enrolled is lost, or if it's not working, or if you're not using the mission any longer, and if you don't want to manage it, you can simply deactivate or delete the mission from your directory itself. So this is all about the device management feature that we have in Zoho Directory. I hope you understood the concept of having directory stores and device management, and how you can migrate your users from one directory to another, and also assign devices to these users and manage them in a single space. So with this, we have come to the end of the session. Before we wind up the session, there are a few key pointers that I would like to highlight. The first key pointer is, whenever you want to create a sync with any external directory, you should remember to have an administrative access in that external directory. Only when you have an admin access, you will be able to perform this synchronization. And the second key pointer is, I told you about having the unified set of credential, right? So this can be achieved or opted only from the user's end. The admin can just only see the password sync status, whether it is in sync or out of sync. However, only the user will be able to configure this sync with their cloud application password and the device password. The third key pointer is, if you'd like to manage hundreds and thousands of devices that you're using internally within your organization, in all those devices, an agent needs to be installed. So agent installation is going to be a mandatory step. Only when the agent is installed successfully, that particular mission will be enrolled and be listed in your Zoho directory, and you can go ahead and manage them in a single space. The fourth key pointer is, if at all, as I told you earlier, if the machine is lost, or if the machine is no longer used, the admin can go ahead and delete and deactivate the machine, right? So before deleting or deactivating the machine, the admin needs to unassign all the users that is assigned to the device, and then proceed with deletion or deactivation. So these are just few key pointers that you can remember whenever you're configuring directory stores and device management in Zoho Directory. So if at all, if you have any questions related to the topics that we just discussed, you can post your questions in the question tab, and my co-trainers will be answering all your questions. In the meantime, I would like to talk about few of the upcoming sessions that we have planned for the month of December. So the first session that I would like to talk about is the Learning Table series. So Learning Table series is a month-on-month free webinar that we handle. So this happens on every Thursday of the month. In this series, every month we pick an industry. That is, for 12 months, we pick 12 different industries, build an application based on the industry, and showcase it to you in the live demonstration. So for the upcoming month, that is for the month of December, we have chosen the industry to be the finance industry. And for this finance industry, we'll be building an application and showcasing how the structure of the application is, and the functionalities that we have included in the application will be showcased in the live demonstration. The session date is on December 5th, which is the first Thursday. And the session timing is from 9 to 10 p.m. as per Indian Standard Time. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and scan the QR code and register for the session. So the next session that I would like to talk about is the upcoming Creator Tech Connect series. the topic that we have chosen is the product release updates in Zoho Creator. So all the new features that are released in Zoho Creator will be covered in this session. The session date is December 12th, and the session timing is from 9 to 10 p.m. as per Indian Standard Time. So if you're interested, kindly go ahead and scan the QR code and register for the session. A registration link for both these sessions will be shared in the chat section by my co-trainer. You can also share this registration link with your friends and colleagues who are interested to join the session as well. Great. Thank you all for your valuable feedbacks. So as we don't have any further questions to be answered, I hope it's okay with all of you to wind up the session. Thank you so much.